Hey, what's up, couch potatoes, Bathsheba? I continue back to reviewing this movie, The Conjuring, 2013, James Wan. This is what put James Wan on the map for me. This guy is an established horror director now, but at the time, people weren't too sure about this. And when The Conjuring came out, it kind of took the world by storm, and I will be upfront with you guys. This is my favorite horror franchise of the 2000s. It's just that good. I love even the bad movies. I think within the Conjuring universe are still pretty good. At least that's how I feel. And I feel like when you could go to horror sequels, they usually just get worse and worse. Some of these I think are even better. But the original Conjuring, watching this with my oldest, I still say this is the movie that scared him the most that we've watched so far. And you were still scared watching it, and you've seen it 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah.
So this is a movie I think that we both love, and we're going to kind of talk about why here. Just why would you say The Conjuring is just something that we just can't get enough of? What's so great about it, and why is it Ed and Lorraine Warren?
Yes. So the actors playing them impeccable.
Their chemistry is off the chart.
Yeah.
I believe they're married. They're so good together. Yeah.
I actually don't think of this as a horror franchise. I think of this as one of the most endearing love stories ever. Like, where do I find Ed and how can I be Lorraine? Like, they're just goals.
Yeah, she was wearing like this 70s looking sweater the other day. She's like, "Do you like it?" I was like, "You could be my Lorraine Warren." Yeah. So I mean, we really have lashed onto this universe, and I think it's what way I sold it to her before she saw it was like, actually it's a love story. And she's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a love story. Just got it's got horror elements in it." She's like, "What?" That's how I got her to watch it. Now that she's seen like 3 of them, she agrees.
No, I'm the one who told you it's a love story.
No, that's not true at all. That's not. She's revisionist history, guys. But regardless, it is a very touching story that only gets better with the 2 of them. But for me, with this universe, I feel like as long as you've got those 2 actors playing those 2 roles, I will watch every single one of them. And they're only doing one more, apparently. That sucks. They're only doing one more Conjuring movie. Oh. But regardless of how you feel about the real life Ed or Lorraine Warren, I think that you'll find plenty to like in this movie. And a big part of it for me has to be because James Wan just did some things with horror that we just weren't seeing at the time. The hand camera, the scaling shots, the just working with shadows and stuff. Jump scares in a way we hadn't exactly seen them yet. Not doing that thing where, a cat jumps out. Oh, you can relax now. Here comes the real scary part. No, it'll do a scary part and you'll relax. And then it'll do another scary part.
Yeah.
So I think with this, even though I've seen it a billion times now and I know where all the scares are coming, they still get me. Like the part where she's on top of the wardrobe. Holy shit. Yeah, still gets me. Gets me. He's standing right there and then the door slams. Man, there's so many good uses of just shadows and stuff in here that make you question what's in the shadow. And oh my God, that just
that's not cool.
So The Conjuring,
cool.
What do you like about The Conjuring?
So watching this, and we have seen it before, and I think that first time I watched it, we watched Insidious not that long after, and those 2 got woven together.
Yeah, both had
in
Patrick
my brain.
Wilson in it.
Yeah. And so watching this time, I was a little more clear on like, wait,
which
I'm
franchise
remembering
it is?
I'm not remembering this from the right movie. It's
still
good.
effective.
Yeah, it's still effective. It's still scary, and so I was able to watch it, and I have a more clear memory of the storyline now. And it's so good. But the universe is so skillfully laid out. Like you get their backstory, but it isn't like, hey, here's backstory in another language for no apparent reason. But it's woven in as they're talking about, oh well, I have to protect her because of this previous thing. I have to, and then you see kind of what happened, and she talks about it, and
it's why it's the one franchise that's been able to replicate the MCU formula, where you can make your spin-offs based off of little seeds that you plant each movie, but they're not so forced that you're like, that's a loose end that never got tied up. Like they set up Annabelle in this movie, but they never set it up to where like, hey, this is for the potential sequels. It just left those roots there where you could spin those things off. And I think this is why, besides the MCU, it's one of the only this, and I guess the Godzilla MonsterVerse, that's the only other one I feel like where they've actually tried to replicate what the MCU did and did it well. They've done it really, really well. Is it successful? No, it's horror. It's never going to be as successful, I think, as something as like the MCU was. But I'm saying if they were trying to ape that formula of making a movie, establishing a universe with multiple branches to spin off everything, because there's tons of spin-offs they could have made that they still haven't done. Like they still haven't done Slender Man. And that's from Conjuring 2, but we'll get to that another time. I don't think I'm going to get able to get my oldest to watch Conjuring 2 because he's freaked out about the nun.
Oh.
He's freaked out by the nun. And I'm like, well, you should watch it and see how freaked out you get about the nun. But for me, just this is at a time period where I thought horror was actually on a downturn again. Wes Craven brought it back real big in the 90s with Scream, and we kind of had like a new renaissance of horror. Got some new franchises that were really, really good. Some not so much. It started getting back into that tweener kind of horror because, let's be honest, that's where the money is.
Yeah.
That's where the money is, and I understood that. But it started getting really, really predictable. Scary Kid, it's got a lot of Scary Kid movies.
Creepy Kid.
Yeah, that or just stuff you'd seen a million times. It started to feel like it was getting very stale, very predictable again. And I felt like this came out and it just kind of changed everything. Insidious, too, also by James Wan. I just felt like he showed that we can do new things with horror, but also bring in those old things that always scare the shit out of us, no matter how old you are,
Yes.
And I think he hit a home run with the casting in this, obviously. Why in the world would you have 5 girls? What are you thinking, my man?
Well, you need a lot of screams.
What are you thinking? So, I mean, I had never even heard of that hide and clap. I'd never heard that before. And now I will never ever be able to forget about it.
Nope.
I joked with them, hey, you want to play it? And they're like, no.
Nope.
In fact, the next morning I just went, she was like, not funny.
It's not cool.
I woke my oldest up the next morning like that, and he was like, oh, yeah. So of all the movies that we've watched with him, he said this was the scariest one, and even over The Shining. And that's something for me.
I'll say this is the one where he invited his brother to have a sleepover in
the game room.
So they
he had
could
to
watch
sleep in
Camp
alone that
Cretaceous,
night.
to watch cartoons before he went to bed.
So I mean, just everything about this. I don't think there's anything really, really wrong with this movie. It's just I love the way it sets up the other movies, and in hindsight, you can look at it and be like, okay, they had a well thought out plan here, even if that wasn't the plan. They did some really great things. I didn't remember so much Annabelle. I mean, every time I watch this, I'm like, I don't remember so much Annabelle being in this movie. But yeah, Annabelle, they set her up really good. Yeah. And it gets you going down that rabbit hole of wanting to look at Ed and Lorraine Warren's their real files.
Yeah.
And looking at some of these stories, like the real Annabelle looks nothing like that. Like, look at that doll in this movie. Of course it's evil. Look at it.
Who didn't see that coming?
Or Raggedy Andy, maybe it doesn't. Raggedy Andy doesn't look that scary. To some people, I feel like if you know the history of it, maybe you might find it a little scary. But it'll get you interested in those real things that they claim happen. That's up to you. Get out. I condemn thee to hell, Bathsheba. So I had no problems with this movie. I think that just about as perfect of a modern horror movie as you can really get. It doesn't get to the point where I feel like it's uninvited anyone who's not a horror aficionado, but it's also old-time horror fans like myself can still find themselves freaked out by it.
No, I love every aspect of this movie. I'm trying to think of like one thing where I was like, well...
Okay, so what you not like about The Conjuring besides the fact that it scared you?
There's no Conjuring?
Dog death. I don't like dog death.
Oh, that's always rough too.
Yeah,
that seemed unnecessary.
Well, that's
low hanging fruit.
That's how you set the stakes. You think? I also, it's like
a lack of Conjuring in The Conjuring. Is my biggest
when
complaint.
I watched The Conjuring the first time, and as far as I knew, it was all it was going to be. It was just The Conjuring. There was going to be nothing else. Maybe you get a sequel to Conjuring, but I didn't know anything else. I was like, I don't like that they set up this event where Lorraine saw something and we never got to find out what it was. I didn't like that. I didn't realize that they had already had this planned out. They had this mapped out. They left those seeds there. So that was really like my only complaint, which now, knowing what that event is, it doesn't bother me near as much. And I remember at the time also I was upset, why not do Amityville? It's their most famous case. And I'm like, well, it's been done 1,000,000 times, so I was glad to see some other things. But for me, it was like, I just was so happy that it got me interested in some of their other cases and seeing that they got so many of these movies they could make if they want to, really, because there's so much stuff out there. And it's always going to get that argument about, like, if you think they're phonies or not. It's really just a personal belief if you believe in ghosts or not. Do you believe in ghosts?
I do, 100%.
All right. So, I mean, I think that's
why else would I be scared?
Why would movies like this scare you, I think, But I don't think you have to find a movie like this. It's really creepy. So, I don't really have a lot of complaints about the movie.
I did. Something we were talking about is talking about how the haunting will go with you. Like, you guys could move, but it's at this point...
It's latched onto you.
Yeah, it's latched onto you. But then they end up sending the kids away anyway, or the family away, and she brings them back, and then she can't even leave because it's destroying her to leave.
Dude, just the sound of a creaking rope kind of creeps me out now.
Yeah.
Not even kidding. So Bathsheba,
really well
what a
done.
character. What a character. So would you recommend The Conjuring?
100%.
Yeah, I think
100%.
so. I think, again, if you want to see someone who has actually done the MCU formula but with a horror format, I think this is definitely it. This is the roadmap to follow It's time for you to go to bed. I
It
think
is.
after we're talking about The Conjuring, it's gonna be exciting.
Ooh.
Exciting times. It's basically it takes Narnia and makes a wardrobe scary. I think.
Oh yeah, no, and it's so right. And Lorraine, their story is so well set up, layered, and then you have the family itself. They are very well set up, layered. So when it's happening to them, you understand all the little aspects of it. And then the story of Bathsheba and all of the ghosts that are in that place is
Look
also,
what you made me do.
yeah, is also really set up. So like it's just really well done. And even the side characters, the sheriff and the kid working the mic, trying to get with the oldest girl, like, what are you doing here, friend? This is not time to pick
Made
up
me
a
think
chick.
of Poltergeist. They had that crew with Poltergeist. Yeah, it felt like a throwback.
Yeah, so even they like their storylines were not throwaway. Their storylines contributed and were fun.
I rate movies like this with someone watching it the first time as how many oh hell knows they put out. I think my kid had about a half dozen. So yeah, he was one of those where usually he's over there sitting by himself. This one he was sitting right next to me. So I was like, okay, it has that same weight that I think it had 11 years ago now. I can't believe it's been that long. But I think we could probably make probably an hour-long video just talking about the Conjuring universe because there's so many things to talk about. But yeah, this is an all-timer. This is maybe my favorite horror movie of the 2000s. So I mean, it's the century.
No, I knew I liked it. I knew I liked the franchise just because I do love Ed and Lorraine's story so much. Every time they're on screen.
I think Patrick Wilson's awesome. He's one of my favorite actors, and this is his key role.
I really just only think of him as Owlman. So
Owlman, yeah,
yeah,
and she's Insidious also.
Yes, but I think of him as Owlman. I can't remember his name, but I remember Owlman.
Yeah, from Watchmen, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I just like their story so much. But going back and watching this, I was like, you know what? This is a really solid movie.
Yeah.
Where
I
know
part
we
two's even
both
better.
think the first Annabelle, not that good. The second Annabelle, amazing, and makes the first Annabelle better.
That's the thing about a lot of these movies is like when you look back on them once you've watched the whole universe, I think some movies you might think are weaker installments get better.
Yeah.
And Annabelle Creation's excellent.
Yeah.
It's a really good, damn
Really
good movie,
good.
and even has a nun Easter egg in it. That's like really cool. It's things that you didn't notice until you've watched the whole universe. So this one I hope they keep making. Like I said, I know that they said that they're only making one more with Ed and Lorraine Warren. I wouldn't be surprised to see them have cameos and stuff like they had, I think, in one of the Annabelle movies. I think they had that cameo at the beginning in the car. Things like that.
Did they have a cameo on Lara Llorona
I think.
too?
Look, I bought this Conjuring Universe box set, and it doesn't even have
La Llorona.
La Llorona. So I think they're trying to memory hole the Curse of La Llorona, which I didn't think was a terrible movie. It was just fine.
It was mid.
Again, like I said, with these, if you can make even a mid horror movie, that's more than you would expect, really. So, but yeah, we still haven't watched Nun 2, which is amazing that we didn't put that on the list this year. As much as we like this universe, I don't know.
I can't believe we didn't do Wreck 2, so.
Wrecked him. Damn near killed him. Yeah. So, guys, The Conjuring. If you don't like this movie, or if you haven't seen it, do so immediately.
Yeah.
I
Highest
think,
of
again,
recommends.
just for. I mean, I can't think of her. I can't say her last name. Vera, the one who plays Lorraine. She's in Bates Hotel, and I'm thinking about watching that show now, just because I love Psycho, and because I think she's amazing. She's an amazing actress, and I love her. And she might be my cinematic crush.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, I know who to take out. No, I was interested in that Bates Motel, but I was like, it feels like it had too much margin for error.
Yeah.
Like it could go just very unwatchable.
I've heard good things. I've heard very good things. We'll see. But guys, Conjuring, what did you think?
How many stars?
Oh, I mean, this is a 5-star for me. I mean,
It's a
5-star.
Wow.
I don't think you're going to make a better horror movie, really. I mean, you're putting a list of top 10 horror movies. This is probably on it for me. I think it's just fantastic. And if you're a horror fan, there's no reason you shouldn't watch it. And it's a 4 out of 5 pumpkins for me because it still has parts that freak me out.
Yeah, I was thinking it's definitely a 4-star. I was trying to think of it. It really hits that 5-star. And thinking about it within the franchise, 5 stars, 4 pumpkins for sure. Had to go out to check my car that morning in the dark, and you had done that stupid clap thing. Yeah, hate you so much.
All right, guys, drop in the comments. Let me know what you think about The Conjuring, and we will talk to you there.
Hate you so much.